Good Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us for Unscripted here on Up North Live. Winter weather, it's the headline for today, Joe, and it's back.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, round of snow this evening. No, most of the day was pretty good until this evening, but right now it's not that good on some of the roadways. But we are going to see things improving later tonight as the steady snow we have passing by kind of tapers off. But there's a look around northern Michigan. You can see the Mackinac Bridge. Plow truck going through there in Petoskey right now, Gaylord, and then outside of our studios here, just west of Traverse City. All right, let's start with warnings and advisories. The Eastern UP winter storm warnings for Luce County for about another half hour until 7 o'clock. Chippewa and Mackinac counties until midnight, and then the purple shaded areas from Antrim to Alpena County, Gaylord north to the Mackinac Bridge. We have winter weather advisories for the snow and wind, that also until midnight tonight. There's radar showing this band of snow crossing through, but again, over the next couple hours, this will move east, coming to an end, and then it'll be later tonight when some lake effect snow kicks in right through part of the day tomorrow. We'll have more on that. I'll look at how much more additional snow is on the way, and we're going to end the week kind of on a mild note. More on that in a few minutes.
For that, Joe. 11 months ago, northern Michigan was coated in a crippling layer of ice and snapping trees, knocking out power to tens of thousands of people for weeks on end. And if you drive through the parts of the 13 heavily impacted counties here in northern Michigan, you'll see the damage. While the power is back on, the DNR says the work isn't done yet, and the impact of the March 2025 storm will be felt for decades.
Storm struck in late March of last year. The freezing rain lasted for over 60 hours.
Days where ice built up over an inch on everything, snapping trees and power poles. A massive amount of ice covering a massive swath across 12 northern Michigan counties.
Had storms similar to this in the past, but nothing of this magnitude and complexity.
If you were here, you know the damage, but Michigan lawmakers who weren't have been getting updates on the recovery process from the DNR.
This impacted over 900,000 acres of state forest land, 3,400 miles of state roads, 19 state parks, 54 state forest campgrounds, 169 boating access sites, and over 3,200 miles of trail.
Staggering numbers and staggering amounts of work to get those areas accessible and usable for visitors.
During the 2025 season, the Parks and Recreation Division's initial priorities were life safety, along with a rapid, safe reopening of our recreational facilities.
This past season, some Band-Aids and quick fixes, knowing big work still remains.
And we still have timber salvage efforts, as well as reforestation, continual forest road cleaning, and mitigation of increased fire risk.
And that risk is a growing concern as we move into wildfire season.
Those larger fuels being on the ground, now that they've cured and dried out, will take longer to put out.
In light of that, the DNR hoping to have more ground and aerial support this year.
Part of our budget, as you're well aware, was $2 million in enhanced fire suppression funding.
That's more money going out because of the storm, and as it turns out, all that damage will lead to less revenue coming in for countless years.
When you look at that 19,000 plus acres there of damage and the salvage operations we've conducted, and realize what the losses are in growth and future timber sale revenue, you're looking at over $27 million by our calculations.
Salvage timber sales getting less than half per cord of what they would under normal conditions, all while the DNR is juggling replanting and reforestation efforts, prioritizing red, jack pine, and hardwood and oak forests, because getting trees back on the land isn't only good for the environment and timber sales, it's valuable to those who use the state's land for its intended purpose.
People don't come to our campgrounds and our facilities to want to camp in parking lots and fields, right? Without some reforestation efforts, you know, these facilities are not going to be able to offer that feel and that ambiance.
That was Up North Live's Mark Gillette reporting. When the DNR wrapped up this cleanup effort for the fall, they had been able to clear and open all about 265 miles of roads in our state forests, and they say that'll be a priority this season. In other news today, Lake Superior State University, or LSU, will soon be kicking off a multi-phase infrastructure improvement project. The more than $10 million plan will include major roof repairs, even repairs to the sidewalks, roads, and parking lots. refreshed landscaping, and campus-wide signage, that is. Joining us now to talk more about those exciting campus improvements is LSSU President Dr. David Travis. Dr. Travis, thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate this. First of all, let's start with the major news that's about to unfold. Is this something that's been long overdue for the university as far as upgrades?
Absolutely. This is my second year as president, and when I arrived a year and a half ago now almost, I made this a top priority. The state of our campus, I mean, you look at the winters that we deal with here. We have an older campus. We're on an old Army base that was renovated into a university about 60 years ago, and we've really struggled with keeping up. So this has been a top priority. We've been working on fundraising and other aspects to make sure we can move forward with this.
And we're talking about a multi-million-dollar now. Break down the upgrades for us and what faculty and students can expect.
Well, we're really excited. This is just the beginning, I think, of a much larger overall infrastructure that's going to include our housing eventually and things like that. But right now we're focusing on about a $10 million renovation that's going to focus on our academic buildings, our student buildings, such as our athletic center, spaces that are heavily used for a variety of reasons. And some of it's just basic structural problems. We've got a number of leaky roofs that we've got to fix. Not the most glorifying sounding thing in the world, but absolutely need improvement. We've got heating and cooling challenges, HVAC, electrical, and then we've got a lot of priorities just to make the campus more beautiful. We've got to focus on our sidewalks, our parking lots, our curbs, our landscaping. All of these things are going to make Lake State be a much more impressive looking campus here by the end of the summer.
I was going to say, you know, Lake Superior State, known for its liberal arts programs, its technical studies, and just, you know, along the Soo Locks there, overlooking Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, the beauty of this area is this. The hope is to you know, obviously enhance that as well.
Yeah, we've got an interesting challenge here because we're in the oldest city in Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, and we have one of the older campus landscapes. But we're in a beautiful setting on the top of a hill overlooking the St. Mary's River. We can see Canada from the university. Just spectacular. So we've dealt with you know, older buildings for a long time, and have finally made the decision to invest in these buildings, not take them down necessarily, but improve them, retrofit them in various ways, give our students, our staff the sort of amenities that they deserve. Really long overdue. And I think what it's going to do is really add to the overall beauty of the campus as a whole.
Where is the money coming from? Is this a grant? Is this something that's been put aside for these type of upgrades?
We've got a number of sources, and many of them are still growing. As a matter of fact, we'll be testifying down in East Lansing for some funding from the state here later this week. But the initial source of funds we have come from a combination of donors. We borrowed a little bit of money that we have a very good plan on how we're going to pay it back. And then we've got a lot of partners, local area partners that are stepping up to help us. But the number one source is from our donors who, all of them are graduates or supporters of Lake State. They've been here, they spent time here. It meant a lot to them. It really set them on their career paths, and they want to give back to the university. So I've been asking them to help us, and I just can't say enough about how they've stepped up to really help make this happen. When
will the upgrades begin, and what does the timeline look like right now?
Well, we had a board meeting 2 weeks ago where some initial phases of the project were approved by our board of trustees. And so the planning is already underway. A lot of this work is happening behind the scenes. We have engineering firms we're engaging with that are doing the planning for us. We're starting to contract with different companies that will do a lot of the actual work, construction, roofing, that sort of thing, concrete companies. And so as soon as we can get rid of the 30 plus inches of snow that we have on the ground, we're going to begin doing this. This will be a very busy, loud place all summer long, which, as they say, construction's the best sign of progress. We're going to see a lot of progress happening on this campus.
I was going to say a good type of busy happening, which is what you want. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Dr. Travis, thank you. Exciting news. We're happy to hear about this with Lake Superior State University. Where can people get more information if they'd like to look into these upgrades?
They can go to our website. We have a press release on the website, and we'll be posting updates along the way as we get more information and a more clearer timeline of each of these projects.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Dr. Travis with Lake Superior State University. Exciting news for them. Meantime, President Trump set to deliver his State of the Union address tonight. The president says it will be a long speech, and he plans to talk about multiple topics like how good he thinks the economy's doing right now. The president's also expected to talk mainly about domestic issues, but some foreign policy issues as well, like talks on Iran's nuclear program, could also be part of that State of the Union speech. The State of the Union is set to start at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can tune in to Up North Live News at 11 for a full recap of the president's speech. And that brings us to our question of the day here on Unscripted. Do you plan on watching the State of the Union this evening? And if so, what topics are most important to you for the president to address? Check out our website, UpNorthLive.com. You can vote in our poll, scan the QR code on your screen as well. You can also check out our Facebook fan page, Up North Live, and leave your comments. And as always, we will check out the comments and those poll results at the end of the show. All right, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix takes a look at more snow that could be moving into the area. Winter weather not going anywhere. All of those details coming up.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
I'm Dee Dee Catton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update.
He'll obviously tout the administration's accomplishments over the past year, and he will, of course, lay out a very ambitious agenda, I think, for the working people of this country.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump's State of the Union address tonight will focus on making America more affordable, prosperous, and safe, and making the American dream more attainable. She says Trump will share stories of everyday Americans as well as emotional stories of American heroes. The speech is at 9 Eastern. And prosecutors in the case against Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin are allowed to stay. The judge ruled against Tyler Robinson's attorneys who wanted the prosecutors dismissed. The defense claimed there was a conflict of interest because a prosecutor's child was at the event where Kirk was killed. The judge said this did not materially influence the prosecutor's decisions. Plus,
you know why I always say if Florida was a stock, I'd be investing everything I had in it. It's because of our economic diversification strategy and our focus on growing business and growing jobs.
The Florida Chamber of Commerce president and CEO says Democrat-led states like New York and California are descending into a death spiral. He says Florida's economy is thriving because of its fiscal policies, like lower tax rates that fuel investment and actually increase tax revenue. Florida is now the 15th biggest economy in the world. And that's your news update.
And keep in mind, the National News Desk can be seen on ABC 29 and 8 on Saturday night and 11:30 and Sundays at midnight. And we are now taking a look at that weather forecast, winter weather back. And I keep saying it, Joe, I sound like a broken record, but I really was happy when there was a little bit of thaw in the air.
Were you?
I was. I kind of got used to that. Now it feels winter-like again.
We're right back into some of the snow. Yeah, and messy roadways too this evening. Let's take a look. That's Drummond Island right now, where we have a winter storm warning in effect until midnight for this area. Although I would say, and I'm going to show you this in a minute, by 9 o'clock or so, most of the snow should taper off. But I'll look there. All right, let's take a look. Winter storm warnings in effect for Chippewa and Mackinac counties until midnight. Luce County, now a winter weather advisory. So it looks like the Weather Service just changed that. It was a warning. And then our northern lower peninsula counties winter weather advisories until midnight tonight for that passing snow and some of the wind. All right, here's the weather map tonight. Low pressure right there on the north side of Lake Superior tonight. Ahead of this is where the snow is, which really ramped up last night and then kind of worked into the area this late afternoon and evening. Thankfully, the first half of the day was pretty quiet with the snow holding off, but there it is now. And this is over the last several hours. You can see that band of snow working from west to east across northern Michigan. But the back edge of this is just getting into the UP now, right here. And then kind of coming on shore, snow about to end around Petoskey, Charlevoix, Traverse City, Manistee as well. And again, later tonight, we should see relatively quiet weather mid to late evening before some lake effect snow starts to kick in. So there's a little closer look at that. Snow continuing around Rogers City, Petoskey, and we'll follow the south. The heaviest snow right now from Gaylord and Grayling, right across the Lake City region, back into Big Rapids, where the snow is really ramped up here, into Reed City. But again, there's the back edge of this out over the lake. So as we take a look ahead here, winds continuing out of the south, they'll turn more northwesterly. There goes the steady snow. And then here's the lighter lake effect snow tomorrow. But if you are in the snowbelt areas, you could pick up an inch or two of accumulation tomorrow in spots. Still relatively cloudy for our Wednesday. Most spots tomorrow in the teens and 20s. And then Thursday, pretty quiet early on. The lake effect snow ends. And then this is another little weak clipper coming in late Thursday afternoon or evening. Not a big deal, but some snow Thursday evening, and then that moves on, and then a mild day on Friday to end the week. For one day, we should get into the 30s and 40s. There's the snowfall tonight, another inch or two for northern Michigan with that band passing through, and then some of the additional lake effect. And there we are tomorrow through Thursday. And again, when we add this up, 4 to 6 inches north of M28, Gaylord, Bel Air, 4 to 5 there, Manistee about another 2. If you're looking for some sunshine, yeah, don't look tomorrow or Thursday. But as we head toward the end of the weekend, Sunday, Monday, increasing chances maybe for a little bit of sunshine. All right, tonight, snow giving way to a scattered lake effect, the steady snow gradually ending. And then later tonight, the lake effect snow kind of kicking in. The wind will shift around from the southwest right now out of the northwest overnight tonight. Tomorrow, scattered lake effect snow, daytime highs in the 20s tomorrow for pretty much all of northern Michigan. Atlanta 23. Kalkaska, low 20s tomorrow, scattered lake effect snow. And the same thing here, 20s to around 30 at Clare and also at Mount Pleasant. Check out Friday, 38 and 46 for one day. And then we drop back into the teens and 20s for the weekend. Once we get past Thursday's system, relatively quiet weather, though, through the weekend into the early part of next week.
All right, thanks, Joe. Coming up, we take a deep dive into our school ski state championships with two families motivating the victories for both Traverse City West and Petoskey. Harrison Beebe has a look on all of that coming up next in sports. Welcome back to Unscripted. Sports Director Harrison Beebe joins us for some exciting news about a family involved in some skiing in northern Michigan. This is quite the story.
Yeah, basically the story we had yesterday, except now we're actually going to hear from the family, which kind of pays dividends for all the hype we gave them yesterday. Traverse City West led by the Lewandowski quadruplets. There's three brothers and a sister that are all juniors, and the three brothers won a state title. The sister did pretty well, too. And two brothers in Petoskey really helping pave the way for these two team state titles yesterday. Take a look. In the last several years, Traverse City West skiing has been defined by the Lewandowski family.
We all grew up skiing, and I think it was something that just really brought our family together.
Along with a three-peat of team state titles from 2021 to 2023, older brothers Caleb and Aiden combined to win 5 individual state finals races. Now the three younger brothers, Dane, Cam, and Brock, can stake a claim to their own team title here in 2026.
It was definitely great knowing we're taking home a state championship after losses in the past 2 years.
Just what Dane said about how we've all been skiing together for so long,
and we just know each other so well, and we can just tell each other what we need to have done, like on race day, and they'll just get it done with perfect execution.
And with the support of their sister Summer, who also finished top 10 in both her races on Monday, the Quads are establishing a legacy of their own with one more high school season to go.
Definitely have talked about it, what it would be like to have a sister, but I mean, either way, I'm super blessed to have my brothers. I think either way, it's great competition, and even if I'm not directly racing them, there's always competition between us.
And in Petoskey, senior Taylor Kieswetter's giant slalom title helped lead the Northmen to another team title as part of a dominant run in Division II.
Every single one of our teammates stepped up, even like the younger ones. Like we packed 6 guys in the top 10 in slalom, and I haven't seen that before. I think it was really impressive.
Sophomore brother Chris Kieswetter was a part of the success on Monday and wanted to join in on our interview as well.
Our coach has always reminded us throughout the season, he says, "So what, now what?" And I feel like that quote really inspired us into the following events for slalom. And you can see that our whole team really showed up.
Yeah, Melissa, I was conducting the interview with Taylor, and as you could all see at home, in the background, Chris was kind of wanted to scope out what was going on. So when his senior brother got to talk about the state title, I said, hey, come on, Chris, step on in there, and let's get you. He was a part of the championship as well.
Of course,
so let's get
why
your take, and got the Kieswetter brothers right there and then.
Very nice. Nice to see that family connection there, but with both sides, both families there. So exciting stuff. Thanks, Harrison. Coming up, we are going to take a live look at those results for our question of the day. That's coming up after the break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Unscripted on this Tuesday evening. Our question of the day: do you plan on watching the State of the Union tonight? And if so, what are some topics that are most important to you for President Trump to address? Immigration, 19% from what people are voting on. Healthcare, 18%. The economy, 48%. Almost half of people who voted looking at the economy. National security, 15%. We have almost 300 responses on our Facebook page right now, Up North Live. Check out those responses. You can still comment, of course. We encourage you, go to our Facebook page on our website, UpNorthLive.com. Thank you for joining us tonight for Unscripted. We hope to see you back here for Up North Live News at 11. Until then, have a fabulous evening.